without that, it would be extremely difficult to manage.
Yeah. I mean, I for one,
what's left.
I for one can vouch. I mean, I thank you for the other week when you actually showed me your phallus. It is extremely extensive. Charlie, I haven't been able to quite see yours. Is this something which you?
Oh, I get it. You want to see my dick? All right.
Speaking on behalf of YouTube.
Come closely. Watch this. Film this. I'm going to get my dick out.
Don't. Okay, I'm joking. One more question. One more?
Yeah.
So there seems to be a certain air of an inability to accept the dysfunctionalism which you're surrounded with, and I'm just wondering if perhaps all these videos are about your inability to accept the pain and the difficulty and the challenges that come with anybody's life.
I would say to that, without meditating, that is a very accurate angle, a psychological angle, and I really do deeply struggle accepting the difficulties of the reality in which I live, both in my personal life and in the Western world society. I do, yeah.
So many people who are a lot more eloquent than myself have put it up so much more eloquently than myself I've managed to do in the videos.
At least so far.
So far.
In this sentence.
Hopefully I'll improve. But Nelson Mandela said that the struggle is my life. By resisting, you are winning. By not accepting it, you've already won. And it is a mental war. It is a war of hearts and minds. And can you imagine if 70% of the people in this world were as crazy as Danny? How great it would be that, McDonald's would end, big shopping centres would end. This isn't very intelligent talk, we can edit this out, but blah, yeah, it's a big blah.
Charlie, I think you were, if I may be bold with you, and I think you were doing something.
Yeah, you've never been bold before with me.
I think you're doing something that I see you doing regularly, which is either avoiding the question or not really hearing it. Because Daniel's question was very powerful and very deep and important. And I feel that you evaded it, avoided it, or didn't hear it.
The question, if I understand correctly, Dan, was how much of it is my inability to conform to the way the world is, just like everyone else manages to?
No.
Could you please tell me the question again?
The question was about the challenges of being able to accept the things that are difficult in our lives.
Yeah.
And I was wondering to what extent these videos are about your challenges and inabilities to be able to accept the dysfunctionalism around you, to be able to accept the pain. Actually come to terms with the fact that yes, there is difficult things out there.
Okay, I can't accept when people get treated like second-class citizens. We can look at extreme examples in history, which we don't need to. No, I can't accept it. It makes me sad. And I used to be very angry at anyone who would dominate and control another person, but now I just pity them. And I went through a big angry phase. And I still do feel anger every day, but in small doses. Now it's mostly pity for people who really hurt other people.
But Charlie, I think what Daniel was asking, I think you're missing it again. I think what Daniel is asking, what I'm hearing him say, is this a projection of our inability to accept our lives as they are? Is this a projection of your inability to accept the pain and suffering that is a part of your life?
Oh, my life? No, it's not. It's not a projection of my inability to accept suffering as my life. Since I started, I wouldn't even say we're filmmakers. We do stuff when we film it. That's probably the best way. We're stuff doers. Since I started doing stuff with Danny or otherwise, my life has improved. And it's improved psychologically, it's improved sexually, it's improved emotionally. And I wouldn't say it's a result of my dysfunction. I'd say I feel empowered. There's part of my soul which, when I do things like what we've just done in Westfield, it makes me feel better about myself and about the connection I feel with my fellow man who understands what we're doing. So the answer is no.
Just one more thing. If we were to consider this a behind-the-scenes interview with the two makers of Everything Is Okay, I wonder what the final message that you would want the audience who regularly watch Everything Is Okay to know about yourselves and the making of Everything Is Okay. Uh-oh.
I'd like people to know that there's nothing different about Danny or myself in doing this. The only difference is that we do it. Everyone can do it.
Because he's just awesome. I love him. You were so cool on Theo. Theo's just like...
I know, we tried to get Danny on it, but he had other commitments, so, you know.
Yeah, as you do.
As he do, yeah, he's great.
So,
I'm so glad
you just gave that greeting. Could you just do that greeting again?
That greeting? Which one?
Nam
Myoho Renge Kyo. And get it on the web. Let everybody hear those words. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Well, what does it mean?
It means the mystic law. It means the universe. It means everything. It's the core of our being. It's what drives us. It's the power of love and understanding and compassion that keeps us all together. Because none of us are any different to anyone else. Nobody's more equal than anybody else. We're all the same.
But what about the people
Enjoy
who
this life?
Yeah,
Enjoy this incarnation.
What about the people who win the X Factor? Aren't they slightly better?
Well, I do have. I mean, I would not kick Alexandra Burke out of bed. You know, she's a beautiful lady. What a goddess. But I'd prefer to spend probably about 30 years washing her feet. You know. So I've not got a problem with it. But yeah, it's a whole bunch of nonsense. Everybody knows it. You know, all this brainwashing that's coming in all the time. You know, and everybody's swallowing it and here comes the suicide bomber. He's gonna get you. He's gonna fucking get you, man. He's got a bomb. He's got a bomb. He's got a bomb. He hasn't. He doesn't want to blow anybody up. He wants to be left alone. That's what he wants. He doesn't need all this chaos, does he? It's all nonsense, and it all feeds the arms industry. That all feeds. I mean, it depends how deep you want to go. You want to go all the way to David Icke, who I personally believe is bang on the mark. And yes, there are interdimensional beings creating half of this havoc and have owned this planet for a very long time. Yeah. But we have consciousness, and we will win.
They feed off us. That's why they
feed on all this fear and this madness.
Well, there's certainly a sense of confusion that's been evoked. And I'm wondering, for the sake of all the viewers, now in the apparently millions of people who watch the YouTube clips, although only 5,000 actually click on this particular...
It's funny you should say that, because we believe that there are actually at least 10 million people watching, but you know, we know that the powers that be like to put our numbers down because our message is so dangerous and subversive.
So I'd like to ask you about, was there any particular message that you focused on today? Try and keep it short.
Yeah, well, I mean, the messages are, you know, they're varied, but ultimately I suppose the message that I want to go to people is that we're all amazing beings and we have an amazing planet, and it's possible for us collectively to break out of this kind of slavery and conditioning and matrix.